Hello again. Time for another review. Yay! Okay, I do have the book, but since the cover has an ILL sticker slapped on it, I show you what the cover looks on my tablet. Hold on. It's A Moveable Feast by Lonely Planet, and I'm giving this 3 stars. So, it's 38 stories in this little paperback. And the reason why I got it was because Anthony Bourdain did a story in it, and I had to basically read everything he wrote. Just because. So, if this is your first time listening to my short story stuff, be aware it's long. So, continuing on. You can fast forward till the end, or you can just stop if you don't want to listen to it. Alright, but I'm only doing like one-line reviews on all these. But I averaged it, and it's 3 stars. Okay. Food on the Hoof by Jan Morris. It was an interesting story about how Jan liked different types of foods not processed. Daily Bread by Pico Iver. It was a wonderful story about Pico's time eating and hanging out with the monks. Communion on Crete by Rona McAdam. Super interesting about a woman during her time in Crete and rushing around with other students to try new foods. Of Boars, Baskets, and Brotherhood by David Downey. This one was a good story. It was a wonderful story of a couple in Genoa dealing with wild boars, fresh garden vegetables, and meeting a pilot at his job when the ships come in. Superly beautifully detailed. Seasoning Jerusalem by Elizabeth Eves. Beautiful story about a woman in Jerusalem working at an internship and meeting wonderful people and eating/making delicious food. Couscous and Camaraderie by Nita Breland. Cute story about this author's time in Morocco and learning about couscous being made in, I don't know what I wrote there, in the city area, in and out of the city area, and made in a very small rustic home. Okay. Sometimes I type and they don't make any sense. Cooking with Donna by William Sertle. Cool story about an author on vacation resort in the Caribbean and literally going into the kitchen to learn what the chef is making and how it's made. Salad Days in Burma by Karen J. Coates. Good story about author's time in Burma, obviously. Also a little scary. Travel scary, not supernatural scary. Just What the Doctor Ordered by Alexander Lobrano. Another good story. Wonderful story about the author getting lost and finding a wonderful little place to eat with interesting people. Doctors. The Hair of the Cow by Lawrence Mitchell. Funny story about a traveler in Georgia who drank a little too much, and not the state Georgia. Siberian Chicken by Anthony Sutton. Interesting story about a man traveling to Russia and meeting 2 women on the train. Things get a little hairy, but in the end, everyone winds up happy and none the wiser. The Scent of Love by Stanley Stewart. Also an interesting story about a man in Mongolia setting up a tent and meeting/eating with the nomads. Not for the faint of heart, but the type of food he ate. The CUE Quest by Doug Mack, meaning short for barbecue. The author and his father go on a quest to find the best barbecue ribs in Kansas City. Great story. Propane and Hot Sauce by Liz McDonald. The author goes to Hawaii to meet her friend and gets some of her favorite hot sauce. However, she gets more than she bargained for. A Pilgrimage to El Bulli by Matt Preston. Love stories about El Bulli. But what made this funny was he didn't like every single course at the restaurant. So that was really awesome. Ode to Old Manhattan by Anthony Bourdain. Hearts. I don't have to say anymore. Doragos by Matthew Fort. There's a few ones I didn't care for. This was one of them, about food in South Africa. Tijuana Terrier by Jim Benning. Story about eating in Mexico. It was an okay story. Like Father, Like Son by Andrew Zimmern. I love Andrew Zimmern. How he tried his first multi-course meal at the tender age of 14. Dinner with Dionysus by Henry Schuckman. Talks about drinking a brown wine and how it pairs with goat. Good story. Learned a lot. A Feast on Fae, F-A-I-S, by Lawrence Millman. I didn't like the story. This is my least favorite story. It was very detailed and gross about the food he ate. Fae is in Micronesia, and he was talking about eating a fruit bat in very much detail. Long Live the King by John T. Newman. The King of Fruit. It's about durian. Mango Madness by Amanda Jones. Tale about Ethiopia, who enjoys a mango given to her by a tribesman. Adrift in French Guiana by Mark Kurlansky. Tale of travel and game eating in the French Guiana. Specialty of the House by Simon Winchester. Story about the author ate dog in Korea. Les Tendencies Culinaires by David Lebovitz? Lebovitz. No, not one of my favorites. Boring story about trends from food in France. Peanut Butter Summer by Emily Machar. Loved it. So it's a story about her traveling with a boyfriend who was not an adventurous eater and was not happy about it. She wasn't. The Ways of Tea by Naomi Duguid. It's about her in the Himalayas finding shelter twice with hospitable hosts and hot tea. Breakfast Epiphanies by Ruth Rabin. Cute story about the author in Cairo with a stranger showing how to drink coffee correctly and what the breakfast is consisted of. The Potion by Joanna Goman. Cute story about a college student in Venice and a glass of orange juice. Himalayan Potatoes by Larry Hagberger. Interesting story about the author on Mount Everest, another one in Himalayas, and trying to find food on the wrong path they choose. Chai, Cholium, and Chapati by Sean McLaughlin. Excellent story. About author in India and sitting/drinking chai with a baba. The Icing on the Japanese Cake by Stefan Gates. So the author went to the Naked Man Festival in Japan. It was really eye-opening and interesting to learn about this festival. The Abominable Trekker by Jeff Greenwald. Cute story about the author in Nepal, drunk and getting dinner, which may end in disaster. I'm not going to say how. Almost done. Italy in 17 Courses by Laura Fraser. Excellent story. My favorite one in the book. Stunning, detailed explanation of the Italian food. Now I'm hungry for it. Foraging with P. P-E-E is the name of the person, not actually with P. By Jeffrey Alford. Interesting story about the author in Thailand explaining how the locals forage and the animals they catch. This one was okay. The Best Meal I Ever Had by Andrew McCarthy. Yes, the Andrew McCarthy. It was super short. It was okay. He was in Saigon and eats at a restaurant by a train station. I really didn't think it was that great, but it was okay. And last story, The Rooster's Head in the Soup by Tim Cahill. Stories from the author about his food travels. And of course, it begins with a story about a rooster's head in soup. Which is kind of gross, but interesting. All right, so that's that. Whew. I enjoyed all the stories, the majority of the stories. Loved it. I found a lot more books to put on my to-read list by these authors, so I'm excited about that too. So, once again, that was A Moveable Feast by Lonely Planet. And I'm giving it 3 stars. All right, now that's it for me today. I swear, no more reviews. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.